Inuyasha has evil demons, legendary demons, demons you wanna fuck, and demons you definitely don't. And that last one kind of leads me to the topic of today's yokai discussion. The first demon that Kagome meets in the past, Mistress Centipede. If you're excited for this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Inuyasha and Yashahime content, but with all that being said, let's get into it. In terms of appearance, this yokai has the upper body of a pale woman with long black hair, 6 arms, and an extremely wide mouth. On top of that, her eyebrows are also styled in the way a Japanese princess or noblewoman might have due to the practice of hikimayu. Oh, and of course, the bottom half of her body is a massive centipede, and it's pretty disgusting. Anyways, apparently 50 years before Inuyasha began, even before Naraku was created, Mistress Centipede was one of the strongest demons of the era, defeating other demons and eventually holding on to the Shikon Jewel. She would be slain by the demon slayers, however, she would be able to regenerate as long as the jewel was close to her. This would continue to happen until Kikyo eventually had the idea of throwing her corpse into the Bone Eater's well to avoid it getting close to the jewel. Many years later, Kagome would walk by the well, and as she had the jewel inside of herself, Mistress Centipede was able to regenerate once more and pulled her into the well. Mistress Centipede is one of the only 3 demons in the entire series we get to see using the completed jewel, along with Yadagarasu and Naraku. As far as her abilities go, she's basically just a big-ass centipede who could heal herself and time travel if the jewel was close to her. So, if we're talking about centipede yokai, we're probably looking at the Omukade. This was a giant centipede with an exoskeleton so thick and durable that it couldn't be pierced. Its durability and species are really the only direct link with Mistress Centipede. While she might not be as tough as the Omukade, her regenerative abilities might be a note on her being difficult to kill, or about weapons being useless against her, which is similar to the Omukade. There isn't really that much to talk about in terms of what the Omukade could do, in that much like Mistress Centipede, he was in fact just a big-ass centipede. But we do still have a legend associated with him. In the Shiga prefecture, there's a famous bridge known as the Seta no Karahashi. A giant serpent blocked off the bridge, and villagers were too afraid to cross it as a result. One day, a hero named Hidesato crossed the bridge unafraid of the snake, and literally walked on top of it to get across. The snake freaked out and slithered back into the lake, clearing the bridge for the villagers. That night, a beautiful woman visited Hidesato and explained that she was the daughter of the Dragon King of Lake Biwa. She had been masquerading as a serpent so that she could scare off any weak people and find a brave hero. Her family was being tormented by an Omukade, and they needed a fearless warrior to save them. Basically, her thinking was that centipedes are just snakes with legs, and you got this, bro. Hidesato heads towards Mount Mikami and sees an enormous centipede that coiled around the mountain 7 times. He fires arrows off at the monster, but they all just bounce off. On his final arrow, Hidesato coats the arrow in his saliva and begins praying to Hachiman, the god of warriors. This arrow manages to pierce through the exoskeleton and kill the Omukade. The Dragon King's daughter was so grateful that she gives Hidesato a bag of rice that never empties, a roll of silk that never runs out, a pot which always makes delicious food without needing a flame, and a temple bell which he donated to the Midera temple. The Dragon King also gave him the secret to defeating the rebel which he had been pursuing. And yeah, if I had to guess, I would say that Mistress Centipede's design is based on this story. The giant centipede part is pretty obvious, but the woman half of her body, especially with having the hikimayu marks, could be a reference to the Dragon King's daughter in the legend. This would make Mistress Centipede less so a direct depiction of the Omukade, and more so a representation of the legend as a whole, which is pretty neat. But what do you guys think of this story? It's kind of a typical hero slays monster sort of thing, but it's definitely iconic in Japan. Do you guys like Mistress Centipede, or are you not crazy about her character? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more Inuyasha and Yashahime content, but until next time, remember to stay excellent.